yeah, NBA Straya, how are you going? How you going? I hope you're right. You should be. Why is that, Jim? Well, I don't know. It's Tuesday. And this is a Quickie Tuesday episode of NBA Straya. Literally, we're in and out today. That's the ideal Quickie Tuesday. Jeez. I am your host, James Clements, here in Larry Armour Studios. I've got a squid in the other room. He's hanging out watching, I don't know, Captain Underpants or something. Having a good old time. Well, his old man does a quick show. That's it today. We're literally going to jump in. We're going to wrap up today's games very briefly and set you up for tomorrow and then get out of your hair. Very, very simple. Very straightforward. And that's kind of literally it. Like, I don't know, we'll talk about the NCAA tournament. The Franger gets a wing. I love that. So, without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? Just a Quickie Tuesday. It's episode 1241 of NBA Straya. Let's go!
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Darcy Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
Hi, this is Ryan Brockhoff.
This is Mitch Creek. This is Nick Kay.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya. You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the shark attack.
Ah, you better watch out for the school holidays attack if you, I don't know, me or any of the other dads, mums out there. It is absolute chaos when it hits school holidays. You try to do anything with the squids, you're like, oh, should have just not bothered. That's right. We'll start today's show. We start every show with the daily whip round. But also talking about, I just took the squid to the, to the shops, but also to go see a movie. Went to see The Dogman. The Dogman kids movie. Yeah, had a great time. It was awesome. We went absolute hammer and tongs, and I cannot recommend this highly enough when going to see a movie with squids. Going to the Hoyt's Lux or the very fancy one, because like we just never go to the cinema. Old mate and I never take the squids there. Basically, it's just so much of a hassle and a pain in the dick. And then you're like, all right, just me and him. This will be a laugh. We'll have a good time. Hoyt's Lux, it was absolutely unreal. It ruled. You know, my bunged foot, I've got the recliner chair, up we go. And I managed to get like cheap-ass tickets for it because it's Tuesday. Cheap-ass Tuesday. What an absolute legendary dadding experience this was. You know, it's like $28. We get in there. We got the entire cinema to ourselves. We get free popcorn, a free drink. And I'm like, geez, should I just get like 8 beers as well? I don't care that it's 11 a.m. Let's bloody go. But anyway, it was great times. Then we had some sushi train, and he's a happy little camper. But either way, the reason we're able to do that today was because the 2 games today there was only 2 games because of the NCAA title game. And it was just like one of the games doesn't matter. Maybe a little bit for Miami, but so let's do a very, very brief game wrap after we hit on a couple of little bits of news, and then we'll jump into tomorrow's previews, and that'll be it for today's show. So, and how good was that NCAA championship game, Florida? They did the damn thing. The Franger himself, Alex Condon, becomes another Aussie to actually win an NCAA title. You love to see that. The big unit himself. I love that. That was fantastic. So, congrats to Florida, the Gators. That was a huge game. Absolutely psycho down the end. Houston, had a bit of a chance. But either way, Alex Condon, look, he looks the goods. He's an odd unit. I love him. Let's go the Franger. Congrats to Florida, I guess. The only real news over the last day or two is that Joe Cronin, he's the dude in charge of the Blazers, has got a multi-year extension, which is pretty good. I would argue he's done a pretty good job. It feels like they've got some dudes. It feels like they've got a bit of a future. I don't know if they've got that home run hit of a dude yet. Like Scoot was kind of meant to be that dude. He's not quite that dude just yet. He's on his way. Danny Avdija has been a great pickup. They got him for a bag of chips. Anthony Penny-Simons is really good. Shaden Sharp is an absolute weapon. And it feels like they're just really, really, really solid. They might need that one extra dude. So let's see if they can get Cooper Flagg. And that would be an absolutely gnarly landing spot for him, I reckon. Anyway, the other little bits and bobs. There was the report that the Suns are looking for a massive, massive, massive haul for Kevin Durant. And when, what do we do when this happens? Oh, ring a ding 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 ding. Oh, no! They're not going to say, nah, we only want a couple of things back for Kevin Durant. They're going to say a massive, massive, massive one. So Windy is basically like, yeah, whoa, that was a huge one. Big haul, really big haul. And you're like, all right, all duh. I'm not entirely convinced that's news. Kawhi and Giannis Antetokounmpo were named the players of the week for week 24 last week. Kawhi averaged 24.5 points, 5.8 rebounds, 1.8 steals. Giannis averaged a 36, 12, and 13. That's absurd. Absolutely absurd gear. And good on him. And the last little bit, I mean, Donnie Mitchell, there's a couple of injuries. Like, there's a big, like Donnie Mitchell is apparently going to sit out for the Cavs game tomorrow. And there's a huge Lakers injury list for their game tomorrow as well. So the biggest thing really, and as I sort of sat down to do this show, we sort of hit it on yesterday's and Friday's show about how these are the things that matter from here on out. There's a raft of games that remain actually important, right? Each team has got 3 or 4 games left for the rest of the season. We literally have like a week left, right? We go through to next Monday where everybody plays at the same time, which is awesome. It's going to be an absolute cacophony of NBA, which I'm all about. But in the East, you've still got 5-6, which is a big one. And the thing that we'll hit on in a second, Detroit losing today was a bit of a tough one because they're now 1.5 games back of the Bucks in the 5 spot. I would desperately love for them to get the 5 spot to get a repeat of a Pacers-Pistons playoff series. That would be awesome. We'll go full Malice in the Palace. I don't think we're going to get that. But good job by the Bucks to just get hot at the right time, I guess. But the thing is 7, 8, 9, 10 in the East. And with the Heat winning today, that also makes it very, very interesting. They're only a half game back of the Bulls in the 9 spot. The Bulls are only a 1 game back of the Hawks in the 8 spot. And the Hawks are only 1 game back of the Magic in the 7 spot. And some of these teams have some very interesting games in the next few days. So I just want to hit on this really quickly. So Chicago get Cleveland tomorrow without Donnie Mitchell. Interesting. Atlanta play Orlando tomorrow and then again next Monday. Do you think that'll decide the 7-8, Jim? Yes! I mean,
I know for a fact. I'm just guessing also, really.
That's it. We've got Golden State Phoenix tomorrow. We've got Lakers OKC tomorrow. That means a lot for the West. But Minnesota Milwaukee is a big one, obviously, for the Bucks. You've got not Toronto. I'm saying Toronto. The day after, on Thursday, Orlando hosts Boston. So they've got like this weird little murderer's row here for a second. They really, really need to win that one against Atlanta tomorrow. Outside of that, when you look at the other East ones, you got Miami at Chicago on Thursday. I told you it was crazy. It's going to be awesome. So the next couple of days are absolutely chockers with these awesome, insane games. Houston versus the Clippers is another one because we haven't gotten to talk about the West yet. But the West, you look at their standings there as of yesterday, as we hit on, right? 3 through 8 in the West, basically separated by 2 games. And everybody from 4 through 8 is on 32 losses. It is absolute chaos. And then after that, in the 9-10 spot, you got the Kings with a big win today, jumping back up into the 9 spot, leaving Dallas there in 10. They're 1 full game up. And it essentially puts a bit of a dagger in the Suns because that might be it. All over Red Rover. There's just not enough games. They have to win out, and I think Sacramento have to lose out for them to have a crack. So we'll see what happens there. Probably not likely. But with some of those games coming up, we've got a Denver-Sacramento game on Thursday. You've got, as I mentioned, Golden State Phoenix tomorrow. Lakers OKC tomorrow. Like, it is just back-to-back games that really, really matter in terms of playoff seeding, which is awesome. I could not be more stoked. Can you tell? There's even a Lakers-Dallas game Thursday. Again! Luka coming home. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait. And then you get into Friday. You go Cleveland, Indy, New York, Detroit, Atlanta, Brooklyn. You You got a huge raft on Saturday. Oh, it's going to be awesome. So let's quickly wrap up the games that actually happened today. Bit of a weird one. There was a huge turnaround for the Kangs. I think they came from 18 points back, which was just absurd. And it was Zachy Cake's Adam Levine. It was 18 points they were down, right? Levine has 43. DeMar DeRozan there has 37. The Suvaki King rips off 19, 15, and 10. Levine gets the NBA Straya approved performance of the night. I'll tell you that much. Jeez.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
I'm not going to do that separately, but Levine was incredible. He scored 16 straight. He hit 4 straight threes. They're all pull-ups. It was absolutely gnarly. So that was really, really good by him and really, really obviously important for the Kangs. He hit like a 3 in Beef Stew's face. He gave Dennis Schroeder the 2 small, which is the pantsing of the night. It was absolutely sick. So great job by the Kangs to get it done. And then outside of that, I mean, Cade Cunningham, he's still really, really good. He had 35 in that game with 5 assists. No one else really stepped up. Malik Beasley hit 4 of 14 from downtown for 14 points. He had 19 from Tim Hardaway, the lesser, or Sar Thompson with 15. But with no Tobias, Jalen Duran only played the 20 minutes. He had foul trouble. It was chaos. And yeah, so huge win for the Kangs. And then outside of that, the Pistons, I mean, that sort of knocks them most likely, locking them away into the 6th seed. I mean, they're 43 and 36. It's just going to be really, really hard to make up 2 losses on the Bucks from here on out, with a game in hand essentially for this Bucks team, who will play over the next couple of days. The Bucks do play Minnesota, New Orleans, and then 2 games against Detroit. So those last 2 games of the season, it's almost like the NBA's rigged this, where it's like, we'll just set it off for maximum drama in the last week, and we'll all let it play out from there. I'm not saying it's all rigged, and not at all, Jim. I'm also not saying that. Anyway, so that'll come down for the last couple of games for the Pistons and the Bucks, but Bucks have got a pretty hefty lead over them. And then the other game, it was just a bit of a laugher. Philly 105, Miami 117. Miami just curb stomped them, 25 and 5 for Hero. Khalil Ware was unreal, 19 and 17. He wins today's better than Bronny James. He's been really, really, really good, the Kryptonian. God, I love him. Davion Mitchell, a bit of a resurgence for him, 12 and 9 as well. 29 each for Lonnie Walker and Q Grimes. If you were following along with the picks for Dabble today, bit bloody frustrating. They win by 12. They were up 16 with less than a minute to go and somehow only won by 12. It was wildly annoying. So a bit of an annoying. We obviously nailed the pick with the Sacramento pick yesterday, but still. Either way. There we go. Those are the 2 games. So the standings as they sort of sit now. Quick standings check in. In the East, you got 1 Cleveland. That's right.
Cleveland!
62-16. Boston 58-20. The Knicks 50 and 28. They're all locked away. They're all happy. So are the Pacers in 4 at 47-30, 47-31. The Bucks and Pistons are 5-6. So the Bucks are 44 and 34. Pistons 43 and 36. 1.5 games back. So those 2 games at the end of the season are going to be monumental. But the thing is, they've also just got to get there. Orlando in 7, as mentioned, 1 game up on the Hawks, who are 1 game up on the Bulls in 9, who are a half game up on the Heat in 10. The Magic are 38 and 40. Hawks 37-41, 36-42 for the Bulls, 36-43 for the Heat. Way out west, you got the Oklahoma City Thunder feeling pretty good about themselves at 64 and 14. You got Houston at 52 and 27. Feeling very nice about the 2 spot because they're essentially locked in. They're 3.5 games up on the Lakers. The Lakers are 48 and 30. 1.5 games clear in the 3 spot ahead of Denver and the raft of other teams who are on 32 losses. So Denver at 47-32. And then we have the Clippers, the Warriors, the Wolves, and the Grizzlies, all 46 and 32. 46 and 32! You help me. Who loves Tool? And the big thing for this morass, the 32 loss club, which consists of 5 teams, 4 through 8 in the West, is the tiebreaker situation. So you got to keep an eye on that. Grizzlies copping it pretty badly at the moment, but oof, it's going to Absolutely banally. And then we've got the Kings and the Mavs in 9-10. The Kings are one full game up on the Mavs at the moment, 39-40. Mavs are 38-41. The Suns are 2.5 games back of that, 35-43. They'd have to win out. They've lost 6 on the trot. I don't know. I don't really see that happening. So here we are. All right. That's the standings check. That's setting you up for the rest of the week. Basically, 4 through 8 in the West is still up in the air. 7 through 10 in the East is still a bit up in the air. And then we've also got, 5 and 6 in the East, still a bit wonky. 9, 10, 11 in the West, still a bit wonky as well. So let's take a very quick break and come up with a big set of game previews for tomorrow, because it is a big slate that matters a lot. And I just want to talk about these games. So we'll do that right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Daryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
You listen to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're listening to
Straya.
NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, let's do it with a very quick Game Day Baller Game Day Twitter check-in from Paddy Mills. No Paddy Mills check-in. How about we go to big Stephen Adams, where he's got Sauna Gang on his Instagram. That is awesome. There is a man in a terry toweling hat and a bathrobe having a great time. I love Stephen Adams. One of the great social media users as well. Right. Oh, God. I'm full of sushi. It's so much fun today. All right, let's do it. Some game previews. Game previews. Thanks, Inadvertent Bane. Not a problem, Jim. How's it all going? Yeah, not bad. Good size. Obviously, we ended up going 1 of 2 on today's games. Very frustrating that they couldn't bloody finish it off. Could the Heat? -13. They win by 12. Breaking my heart. Either way, tomorrow's games are absolutely psychotic. You have Atlanta at Orlando for the 7-8. They play this game again on Monday. The Magic Men, it's a fascinating game, isn't it? You sort of look at this, the way that the schedule is sort of landed for a bunch of this stuff, and you go, oh, right. Okie dokie. I mean, you're sort of sitting here going, are the Magic that good? Are the Hawks good enough to beat them? Like this, the Hawks won the first time these two teams played back in like November. The Magic beat them again in February. It feels like the Magic should be more dangerous, but by the same token, are they? Are they? Like, they're so frustrating. It's so rough to watch. But at the same time, they're 20-19 at home. The Hawks are 17-21 away. It's only a 4.5 point line for the Magic. And I do tend to feel like Dyson Daniels can carve up this perimeter offense base, ball attack of the Magic, because they don't really have a point guard. Dyson Daniels can cause a bit of havoc. Can the rest of the Hawks sort of go with him? Oh, I don't know. I think this game could be an absolute rip snorter between Trey, Dyson, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero. To throw back to the, was it last week, where I'm like, why is Paolo Banchero? Like, I just want to say his name like he's a Munch on Munchero. And if you remember Munch on Muncheros, please let me know, because that was the Holden Rodeo, 1 ton Rodeo. It was that song before that song. And it was Munch on Muncheros. We're gonna munch on Muncheros. I'm going to go the Hawks in this one, just because I think they're like just slightly more reliable. If I'm going to get points with Atlanta, plus 4.5, this could be an absolute game buzzer beating game winner sort of end up sort of game. I want to take the team that's giving me points, so I'll take the Hawks plus 4.5. Memphis, Charlotte. When it comes to these games where the other team has nothing to play for, I, at the moment, am just going almost across the board with the favorite. So we're going to go the Grizzlies, despite them not being too crash hot. but they should have enough weapons to just absolutely curb stomp the Charlotte team that has just given up the ghost. 13.5 even feels a bit low. I'll take the Grizzlies. Wizards in Indy. Again, the Wizards have very little to play for. The Wizards randomly have put up a bit of a fight here and there. A little bit. I mean, they got absolutely straight killed by the Celtics on the weekend. And they lost by 12 to the Magic the other day. And that Magic game was like a pretty hefty line as well. They actually beat the Kings, remember? That was at home. In Indy, I think Indy just... That's a team who can... Well, I mean, we've already seen, right? Like, they've killed the Wizards to the tune of 162 to 109 like 2 weeks ago. I'm going to go Indy again. That is a team that can just absolutely light it up at the drop of a button. So we're going to take Indy minus 18.5. It's a massive line. Do not care. Chicago take on Cleveland with Donnie Mitchell probably missing. I'm going to take the Bulls plus 12.5. This is a big, big, big game still for Cleveland. For Chicago. Cleveland do not care. And Cleveland have been very, very scratchy the last few games, right? They've had these sort of like just, what are you guys doing kind of wins. Or they've just lost outright like they did to Sacramento. So they beat the Spurs by only 1. They got by the Knicks pretty handily. They only just eked by the Clippers. The Bulls are just tough. And without Donnie Mitchell, they'll probably be fine. They'll probably still win. But I'm going to take the 12.5 points because Chicago, behind Josh Giddey, putting up a lazy bloody 20, 10, and 9 every night post All-Star. Kobe White, it can drop 37 on your head. And if you don't have Donnie Mitchell on one side, yeah, you're probably still going to put up a half-decent bloody score. But the Bulls can stick with you. So I'll take the Bulls plus 12.5. Boston, New York. This is an absolute ripper, or at least it would be if either of these teams had anything to play for. So this is the frustrating part of the end of the season where teams are actually just locked into their seeds and probably don't want to give anything away. At that rate, I actually wouldn't mind taking the Knicks plus 1.5. They're at home. The Knicks, I mean, with Cat back, who knows who will actually be out there and playing for Boston at this point. They've been chopping and changing these lineups just to give dudes rest. I probably just trust the Knicks at home, that defense. I know that like there's like a weird sort of setup where the Celtics and the Knicks, right? Like the Celtics are no longer like, aha, we're a little bit afraid of these guys. The Knicks have been, I don't know what, steamrolled them, I think, by them in each of the 3 games this year. There you go, 132-109, 131-104, 118-105. This one at MSG, with the Celtics kind of going, we'll leave this one up to Peyton Pritchard. I think I'll go the Knickerbockers. Just because I think that defense, I think they'll play their dudes because Tibbs knows no other way. I'll take the plus 1.5. New Orleans at Brooklyn, an absolute tankathon game. Who wants this more or less is the big question. Brooklyn probably win this despite themselves. And it would be an absolute travesty because it would saddle them with the 26th win and essentially take them out of the running of like tying the horrible, horrible Sixers who have now lost 12 straight for the 5 spot in the tankathon rankings, right? But I think Brooklyn are basically just locked away there anyway. So I'll go Brooklyn minus 2.5. This one though, like, I mean, the Pelicans have got nobody left. They're not playing anybody. Brooklyn's basically the same, so we'll take Brooklyn. It is a brutal game, though. Brooklyn minus 2.5. Minnesota, Milwaukee is an absolute ripper, however. Minnesota need to keep winning. Obviously, so do the Wolves. I like the Wolves. I like that defense. Even in Milwaukee, I think Giannis getting a day off the other day. Without Dame, I'm always going to query their ceiling. I'll take the Wolves minus 3.5. They've had like these really amazing flashes in the last couple of weeks. They've also had a couple of weird brain farts. But I'll take the Wolves minus 3.5. In Milwaukee. Should be a really good game. Lakers Thunder. The Lakers, everybody's questionable. So Luka, LeBron James, etc. So the Thunder are now 14.5 point favorites in this. It's really hard. This one, I'm going to take the Lakers plus 14.5 at this point just because the Thunder might also throw their arms in the air and go, well, whatever. The Lakers might just tank this game out of curiosity because they've got Dallas coming up, which matters a little bit more to them, I guess. So I'll take the Lakers plus 14.5 for now, just because in case Luka does play, in case LeBron does play, that line will change dramatically by tomorrow morning. We'll talk about it on tomorrow's, NBA Straya vibes video. Warriors Suns, you beauty. I'm taking the Warriors at 7.5 points against the Suns. I mean, the Suns are a shell of themselves. They look horrible. They've lost 6 on the trot. The Warriors are looking feisty. They're looking fit. Draymond's trying to win Defensive Player of the Year, despite Dyson Daniels should be winning it. I'll take the Warriors minus 7.5. They're just much more complete. They're deeper. They're way better. Even in Phoenix, I do not care about the 7.5. Finally, Spurs Clippers. Is that all of them? That's not. Yep. This is the 10th game tomorrow. Spurs Clippers. The Spurs do push teams. They are a bit janky. And I kind of love them for it. They just keep trying, even though they're 32 and 46. They lost by 11. They keep losing, which is smart. But they lost to Cleveland by 1 last week. They lost by 11 to the Blazers. They beat the Nuggets the week before. They only lost by 11 to the Magic. They got killed by the Warriors. It all sort of depends on who's actually out there playing for this Spurs team. And it is only a 12.5 point line. The Clippers do tend to put hurt on teams, though. They've just been absolutely cruising along. I want to give the Spurs a little bit more credit, but the Clippers have almost been too good for me to ignore and just go, oh, well, they've just smashed the Mavericks twice. They killed the Pelicans. They dealt with the Magic. They lost to the Cavs. They smoked the Nets. I think they'll be okay against the Spurs. So I'll take the 12.5 for the Spurs. And there you go. That is a big Wednesday slate. That's going to be awesome. I'm dropping the squid off at school holiday program tomorrow. So I'll be just absolutely nuts deep in basketball tomorrow. It's going to be fun as, I'll tell you what. But that's it for today. There you go. All right. Good times. Great memories. That was a Tuesday. Quickie Tuesday. I love that. So there's all the picks. Remember, you can find all of those over at Dabble. Use that code NBA Straya. Click on the link in the show description or on the Facing IG stories or on Twitter. It's under the video every morning. We do the videos every morning, basically just to set up the day for you. Today we did it I looked very tired. I'm just like, oh, geez, Jim. Don't zoom in so much on the face. You could see the bags under your eyes. It's like, yeah. Sitting there having my one of my giant morning coffees. But either way, go check it out. Follow along. Copy the picks over at Dabble. We've absolutely crushed it this year. 61%, I think, across all the picks all season. We've got the tracking document. It's sick. So we've done really well. So if that's your vibe, check it out. Other than that, as per usual, go follow NBA Straya across all the places you follow NBA Straya. Twitter, Facey, IG, TikTok, YouTube. Jump in the comments. Send through some yeah-nahs. I need a bunch of yeah-nahs for Wednesday's show, so send them through. That'd be really, really good. Check out NFL Straya with myself and Gaz. Check us a rating review in your podcast app. However you're listening to the show, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, whatever app you use on the Android phone. Rate, review, subscribe, whatever you can. Leave a comment. That'd be much appreciated. I would very, very, very much love you. Love you for doing that. Big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song. They rule, so do Househats, Joshua De Laurentiis, Fascinated Goldmines, Ramshackle Army, Iowa, Sex Jedi, Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear on the show. Smash them all on Bandcamp, Apple Music, Spotify. Ever listen to your tunes, do so. NBA Straya supports Australian bands. If they got just use Bandcamp as well. You buy anything through Bandcamp and it's like the equivalent of like a gajillion streams for any band. So just saying. But that's it. Quickie Tuesday done. We're out of your hair. We will catch you tomorrow, you dickheads. This is NBA Straya saying, look after yourselves, would ya? And school holidays, man. School holidays. Little Hosen! G'day, legends. Your mate Jim from NBA Straya here. That's right, I'm doing a thing at the end of the show. In the business, we call it a thing at the end of the show, I guess. I don't know. Either way, all I'm just saying is just make sure you're rating, reviewing, starring, subscribing across all of the apps that you use for NBA Straya. Jump in the comments, give us a shout. We'll bang you in yeah, nahs. Any other questions? I'll have a crack. I've got nothing better to do, basically. Also, just ask any questions, tell me what you want to hear from the show, and sing out and let us know. And of course, if you want to help support the show, jump on the old dabble, use that code NBA Straya, click on the link that's in the show description or on the socials. It goes up whenever I do the morning vibes, etc. So if that's your thing, jump on there, use that code NBA Straya, and remember, look after yourselves, would you?